Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. Due to a guest cancellation, I'm going to run with a solo episode here. It's been a minute since I've done that. I think one of the last ones I did was kind of announcing a lot of the new changes inside of Builders of Authority as a whole, which would have probably been 3 or 4 months ago, if not closer to 6 months. So excited to do this episode here today, probably a little bit shorter of an episode because we don't have a guest on, but the timing I believe is really great because we just finished an incredible Q1 and I have a YouTube video coming out where I talk about all the amazing things that we did, the amazing team members that we have now brought on, my trip to Nicaragua, what we did in revenue, profit, like all of the stuff that I believe will help people understand what a rebuild of a brand new business kind of looks like. We just hit the 6-month mark like a week ago in terms of relaunching this business. So I want to share with you though here today, diving into 6, and then I ended up doing a 7th kind of bonus lesson that I've learned, not just rebuilding a digital marketing agency, but rebuilding a business, right, from scratch. And so for those of you that don't know, I had launched my own agency, became a franchise of a digital marketing agency, then became a partner of that agency and walked away and exited that at the beginning of 2024, finalized that in the end of 2024 in October, and then relaunched this agency in addition to our Builders of Authority coaching mastermind and community, which is still around and thriving, and we have some incredible things going on there. But I believe the lessons that I'll share with you today will help you understand some key components and lessons in business. I'm a firm believer that business is business 80% of the time. The 20% is what makes the industry different. So I own an auto glass company. I own a digital marketing company. A lot of the same principles apply 80% of the time. The 20% is the digital marketing. The 20% is the auto glass stuff. So whether you're running a business, thinking about starting a business, having to start over, right? Like I had to basically rebuild this thing from scratch, and we built it to 6 figures in recurring monthly revenue within 6 months. It took me to do in 6 months what was previously taking us 25 months to do back into 2021 into 2022. And even then, right, that was fast. We did it a lot faster and more efficiently this time around. So 6 lessons with the bonus 7th lesson. And I'll start here with lesson number 1, which is always do the right thing. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds simple, but I believe one of the reasons that I'm at where I'm at today and where we have built this business again, right, and doing it at a way higher level than we've ever done it is because I've always done the right thing. Now, it may not always be the easiest thing. I may have not always been it may have always not been the best outcome for me or for my business, but I've always done the right thing. I'm not perfect by any means, but I don't screw people over. I don't take people's money and not fulfill on it. I don't treat people like crap. I don't go online and rip people apart. I always do the right thing. And that's at the foundation, I think, of these 6, now 7 lessons that I ended up putting in a bonus one right before this. But so often, right, I can think back to points over the last 5 years, whether it was different business ventures or clients or anything, right, where I saw people around me doing the wrong thing. Like maybe they didn't believe they were doing the wrong thing, but they were doing the wrong thing. And I walked away. I walked away from clients. I walked away from businesses. I walked away from partnerships. I walked away from things, right, that even though they were making me money, didn't allow me to sleep at night. Flat out, I just said, I'm out. And that's a very difficult thing to do when you've built this thing, right? And all of a sudden you're like, I've built this thing, I've poured my blood, sweat, and tears into it, my money, my resources, whatever, and then you walk away. Not because it wasn't making money, but because it was the right thing to do. So always do the right thing is lesson number one in the last 6 months of restarting an agency and just a business in general. Lesson number two is never lose sight of your customers and know who your ideal client is. So a lot of people in the marketing space that are building agencies, I'm just going to use that as an example, but I would say it goes generalistic to a lot of businesses, is there's this fixation, right, in the entrepreneurial community right now. I want to get as big as I possibly can get, as quickly as I possibly can, make as much money as I possibly want. And it ends up coming to bite you in the ass. Just because you're growing, just because you're making a bunch of money, just because you have a ton of clients, just because you have a ton of team members does not mean it's done the right way. And so you can go listen to podcasts, you can go read books, you can go join mastermind groups, you can go look at all the social media influencers online, right? The people that are telling you to just build and build and build without taking care of the customer, right, are part of the entrepreneurial problem. And that's really one of the biggest problems inside of the digital marketing agency space. Everybody's telling you push, push, push. I was told get to 7 figures, get to 7 figures. We're going to do X, Y, and Z with all these employees. And it's like, oh yeah, wow. You never really cared about the customer. Or you've actually never built this thing that you're now telling me to go build because you're going to benefit from me. So you need to make sure that you never lose sight of the customer, because without your customers, right? The customer is not always right. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can never lose sight of your customers. And even if you know where your customers are at right now, and you understand their pain points, understand how you are solving their problems, right? And you're making them money right now doesn't mean next week, doesn't mean next month, doesn't mean next year that's going to be the same. So you have to continuously make sure that you never lose sight of your customers, because without your customers, you don't have a business. You just don't, right? And you need to know who your ideal client is. If you try to market to everyone, you're going to market to no one. You're going to be in the pool or the sea, right? Or the ocean of hundreds of thousands of other options. And I'm here to tell you AI and technology is only going to make that more difficult. So you never lose sight of your customer and you know who your ideal client is. Lesson number 3 is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. Now I've heard this for years, right? And I always believed it, right? But I was getting so frustrated running my last agency because I'll give you an example. We did almost $2 million in top line revenue in 2022. And I almost profited more money in 2021 where we did 750,000. So I did an extra 1.25 million, right? And only made just a little bit more. But I had to hire way more people at 2 million. I had way more clients. I had way more issues. I had way more cluster sophistication, whatever it is that you want to call it. So just because I was like, oh my gosh, we're at 2 million now, chasing everybody else's goals for myself, not really making much more money. Whereas in Q1 of this year, right, we almost profited more doing a fraction of that in just one quarter than I did all of 2022 doing 2 million. So many people find ways to bump up their top line revenue number, or they add in stuff from 4 different businesses, or marketers are marketers and business owners are shady, right? They can find a way to manipulate the truth. But profit is what you should be focused on. Anybody can go and do top line revenue. Very, very few people are really, really good at making sure that they're actually keeping the money that they're making. Lesson number 4 is talk is cheap, just do the work, right? So a lot of people go online and say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, or I'm focused on X, Y, and Z, right? Or you go do this. And then behind the scenes, they're actually not even doing it themselves. Anybody can say anything online. You can go and make a social media post and say that you are this individual, and then behind closed doors, you are absolutely not. Talk is cheap and do the work. I would rather, if I was coaching someone, right, I would rather tell you, hey, I understand personal branding and social media and all that stuff is at a focal point of being super, super important. But like, if you had to choose between posting and lying online or being someone that you're not or being inauthentic and then just doing the work, I would tell you to go do the work. Because when I teach people personal branding and building authority and doing all this stuff with digital marketing, it's not showing up as inauthentic. I don't tell people, hey, if you're only going to post on social media and the only way you can do it is be someone you're not, just don't do it. There's a better and easier way to do that. But so often, right, we compare ourselves to other people on social media. We think as if we have to do X, Y, and Z in order to build authority or do whatever. And then we don't actually go do the work off camera or off social media. And then people get frustrated. Well, I built a brand, I did digital marketing, I did X, Y, and Z, and nothing happened. It's because you didn't do the work. Talk is cheap, you need to do the work. Talk is cheap, you need to do the work, right? There's no substitute for doing the work. There's not. And I think one of the things I've learned over the last couple of months is like when it comes to things I'm not good at, I either need to hire them out or I need to get good enough at them where I also still hire out for that, but I know enough to be dangerous to help the team push it forward. Whether it's SOPs, process and systems, financials, doesn't really matter. You need to know enough to be dangerous. You need to go do the work even when it sucks, right? So a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go do the work. I'm going to have hustle culture. I'm going to work. No, you can work long hours and still suck. You can work very few hours and be really good. It's not about the amount of anything that you do, but it's the quality of it and the impact that it has. Lesson number 5 is loyalty isn't what it used to be, right? So this could be with customers. This could be with referral partners. This could be with family. This could be with friends. This could be with business partners. I look at the society of where we're at in today in business and just life in general. So one of the big talking points, right? Like I'm a big sports fan. I played college soccer. I love watching sports. I love all that stuff. The stuff with NIL in college sports right now, where people can literally like, I saw a guy that used to play football for Mizzou. Like he's going to his 4th school in 4 years. And he's still got like 2 or 3 years more of eligibility left. The Tennessee football quarterback, right? Literally finally got pushed out because he was asking for so much money. Now he's going to whatever other school he's going to. We live in this society where you don't have to be loyal and you can still make it by. I am not perfect, but I am loyal to a fault, right? And I believe that's one of the reasons as to why I've been so successful. I will be loyal to a fault, and I'm working on that, but I've let people, friends, family, customers, employees, partners take massive advantage of me because loyalty for me is big. But on the other side, I realized like I can only be loyal to the degree that they would be loyal to me. So I don't want to change who I am because someone else is something else. They're not who they say they are. But just remember that loyalty in today's society is not what it used to be. So don't be loyal to someone that's not loyal to you. For the people that you do need to be loyal to, that you've made that commitment to, what you need to do is you need to raise the level of that loyalty and hold your ground, right? Not saying perfect, not saying all those things, but if you can stay loyal to people, follow through on your word, etc., you are going to be very successful in business regardless of what it is that you do. Number 6 is personal branding is and always will be king. One of the reasons, right, we have grown to 6 figures in recurring monthly revenue in such a short period of time is because of my personal brand. Now we have an amazing team, an amazing fulfillment department, amazing like X, Y, and Z inside of our company. Would not be possible to have built and continue to build what we're building without them. We have amazing clients, amazing referral partners, amazing support systems all around, but this was built on the previous 4 years of me building my personal brand. When I wasn't able to do digital marketing last year from an agency standpoint, I had people knocking on my door saying, Adam, I hope you're going to restart an agency. When can you take us on as a client? Like, we don't even care what it costs. Like, we want to work with you. And then from there, right, as the moment I made the notice of like, hey, we can take on clients, it's been a rocket ship ever since. And that's why we took like almost all of March and even into April of not taking on new clients. Because again, we're not trying to be the biggest possible agency that's out there. We're not trying to lose sight of our client. We know who our ideal client is. But I wouldn't be able to do what I do in business and in life without my personal brand. You can go into so many different of the contracting Facebook groups across the country, and somebody asks about SEO, lead generation, website building, paid ads, digital marketing, there's a good chance my name is going to get tagged once, if not multiple times, not just by random people, but by my clients. And that's massive because so many times people will go in and ask and everybody's just tagging their buddies, right? And so it's impactful when my current clients are going in there, taking time out of their day and going in and tagging me. But personal branding is and always will be king. Us rebuilding this business and agency is a perfect example of that. Now, bonus, right? The 7th lesson. And this is one that I have struggled with to a pretty significant degree if I'm being honest and transparent. It's that the more successful you are, the more hate that you will get. And I'm not always talking about the hate of like the keyboard warriors and things like that, but I'm talking about the people that have conversations about you offline, that say that you've changed, the family and friends that take a step back or try to poke the bear or do whatever, right? The more successful you are, the smaller your circle is likely going to get. Because there's also a bunch of people, right, that are going to try to latch on to you and continue to pull. They may need your money. They may need your time. They may need your resources. They may need your network. They may just need you, right? And the more successful that you are, the less you have to give to all of those people. So your circle should be smaller. You are going to get hate, maybe not in the format of what you're accustomed to from people typing in things about you online, although you will see that. But people making Facebook posts about you even though they don't name you, right? I've had that happen a couple different times where I'm like, calling out the digital marketing space because so many people are just now digital marketing experts and starting an agency and all they're really doing is white labeling somebody's stuff, right? But they show up, right? They're an agency, they're a digital marketing expert, right? And I don't hate them for that. But what I can't stand is then that they go make another post basically throwing shade at my post of just exposing the industry as a whole, not even exposing them. So a lot of times, right, when you have the authority that I have and that we have with Builders Authority, when we say things, people listen. Now, they may not act on it, but it's funny how people will then go and take offense to that and then go feel the need to write a specific post, not naming me or our company, but basically talking about us. So you will experience more hate, more shade, more discomfort, more loss, more whatever, right, at those next levels. And it's not like, oh, hey, I'm going to wake up today and I'm just going to be comfortable with that. No, it's a process that I'm consistently aware of, right? So being aware of it first and foremost is important. And then finding ways to go and make things that much better. So those are the 7 lessons that I've learned over the last 6 months that I believe that are some of the most impactful things, regardless of where you're at in business, if you're not in business, if you want to start a business, if you're just lost in business, or if you're working for somebody else, those things will also help you as an employee somewhere. Those things will help you get to that next level. And these are things that not a lot of people talk about, right? They may be common sense, but simple scales. Complex fails. Thank you so much for listening or watching today's episode. If you haven't done so already, wherever you're listening to this podcast, make sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like it, share it with a friend, right? I want to get this information out to more people, especially when we have amazing education and strategies like we did today, as well as all of our incredible guests. And leave a review as well on your podcasting platform of choice. It definitely helps move the needle. And remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.